We are officially live right now, man. We back.
We
We
are
are
back.
officially live, man.
We are back. We are back. We are back. Happy Sunday.
Man, what's up, E?
What's going on, man? Happy
You not
Sunday.
Yeah, you're not a mother, but it is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day, brother.
Hey, man, I really appreciate the sentiment. It's a lot of mothers out there, and we appreciate all of them. And
Indeed.
glad to celebrate Mother's Day. It's me,
Indeed.
your host with the most, the man with the plan, the X that made him flex. Mr. Eric McLoyd, and I'm flying the friendly skies with the homie Big Stu. How you doing today, brother?
Yeah, man. I'm great, man. I had a really good week, man, on the business side and personal development side. How about you, man? How are you doing, bro? How was your week, man?
My week was pretty good, Scott. You know, like everybody, I'm very disappointed in this Ahmad Aubrey situation.
Yeah.
And like many of us are, so I spent a lot of time reflecting on that this week. You know, how did that hit you personally as you kind of consumed that situation?
Man, fast and furious, man. It came in with flurries, man. I first started seeing people post, you know, I didn't know what was going on, and then the next day I see this footage, and man, it hurt, man. Really, really hurt. Saddened, brother. Just really, really saddened. I thought this was something that happened like earlier in the week or something, bro. Then to find out it happened in February just really, really broke my heart, man. Just really saddened by that, man.
Yeah, I knew nothing about it, just like most of us. I didn't even know that this had happened. So, yes, we got it. This has got to stop. It's got to stop. That's all. That's
What's
what
going
happened.
what's going to make it stop? I mean, man, I feel like, brother, why ain't we clapping back, man? Why we ain't taking to the streets against these cats, man, against these white supremacist vigilantes? Like, you would, at some point you do want to fight back, man. Like, literally fight. Like, I don't know why we hesitate. Even, and I'm talking about myself as well. Like, what's the hesitation? Is it just the brainwashing over the years? Like, what's the hesitation, man?
I don't know what the hesitation is. I feel like nowadays people are fighting back through the use of social media. So they're kind of fighting back that way. But as you're kind of alluding to, there's got to be some other ways to fight back so that this stops. Because this is happening way too often. A man is unarmed to be killed like that. Like, we know why, but it's just something that's ridiculous, man. It's a coward move. You can't even, what, if you feel that strongly about the man and you thought he stole something from you, why not fight him with your hands? You got your son with you. You got to shoot him and kill him.
And then to find out, when not even any reports of armed robberies, no report. It's just like, it's hard to believe that cats is really out here on the vigilante against black folks. The hatred is that heavy. I think that's part of it for me. It's like, maybe I'm delusional in thinking that they really hate us that bad, bro. Like, for real? Like,
yeah. I mean, it's clear to me that the hatred is there. Certain people definitely, to even put your own freedom at risk to kill a man, that's unarmed. To me, that's really deep. Like, even if you feel like, well, I have this certain privileges, nothing's gonna, I'm gonna be okay. You would have to know that there's some risk that you might get in trouble and that your freedom could be taken. But it's like that's not even being considered in that moment. Forget if you care about me. I don't want you to pretend like you care about me, but for your own family and your own freedom, it's like they don't, some of these people don't even seem like they care about that.
Yeah, that's a real thing, man. I don't understand it. I don't understand it for the life of me. But they was free for what, 4 months, 3 months?
Yeah.
Like they had gotten away with it, bragging about it on to their friends, bragging about it on the internet.
Yeah, definitely.
Bragging about it on the internet
For way too long. For way too long.
They had gotten away with it, and like the most recent post said is like they weren't arrested because they saw the video. They were arrested because we saw the video,
right?
And there's, so a lot of questions around that I have, but I'm heartbroken, brother. I'm heartbroken. And his birthday was Friday.
Yeah,
heartbroken, man.
Now I chose not to actually watch the video. Did you watch the video?
Yeah, man, I had to. I'm that dude, man. I saw the video, man. Hurt my heart, man.
Yeah,
I'm saddened by it, man. Like, it's fucked up, man. It's that's how I really feel, man. Like,
no other way to describe it.
Very overwhelming, man. Oh, I'm overwhelmed, man. I'm really hurt by it, and I'm at a loss for words, brother. And I'm normally never at a loss for words.
Yeah, I feel you.
Lost for words, man.
I'm tired. I'm tired of it happening. I'm tired of. I didn't watch it. I don't even want to see it. But I want to try to figure out what I can do to try to help stop this from happening. And I'm sure other people are thinking the same things. But I agree with you. We got to figure out some solutions for this to stop. This is crazy.
Yeah, man. Talking ain't gonna get it, And I hate to advocate for violence, but you keep getting beat on enough, man. Eventually, you gonna swing back, bro.
Yeah.
And I know it don't just take much for us to get locked up in jails and murdered in this country. But we gotta fight back. Like, we can't, son. So one of the things that I did say is like, I'm definitely an advocate for everybody, all the black men. If you have the ability to purchase and get your arm up, secure your arms legally, and get your concealed carry if you don't already have it. I'm a huge advocate for that. And then I don't know if it's gonna change anything, but at least I can say back up off me before. I can draw my weapon too,
Right.
To purchase and get your arm up, secure your arms legally, and me or you, get your concealed carry if you don't already have it. I'm a huge advocate for that. Yo, E, and then can you hear that? I don't know if it's gonna change anything.
It's like it's behind.
I can draw my weapon too. Right. Is it playing on your end or my end? Purchase and get your arm up, secure your arms legally, and I think that's playing on your end.
Okay.
That's all right. A little rough technical difficulty. We good. So
anyway. You were saying arm up as a strategy to kind of keep them up off you.
Yeah, man. I mean, we got the right to bear arms. Get your concealed carry if you can, and protect yourself. I mean,
yeah, no doubt.
I never want to go to jail. I never want to spend any time in jail, man. But I definitely want to protect myself.
Yeah,
I think I'd rather be in jail than have an untimely death at the hands of someone else.
Right. The hands of someone else who's not authorized to even be approaching us about anything. We got the problem with the people that are supposedly authorized, but then we got these other individuals that are not authorized in any way, shape, or form. And they're taking people's lives as well, taking Black people's lives as well. So no doubt.
Well, I hear in the state of Georgia, they do have a law where citizens can go. You can make a citizen's arrest. You can detain a suspect until the authorities arrive. You can do that in Georgia. I did see that, but obviously they
didn't follow that protocol.
Way beyond that. Absolutely. So
yeah, it's a tough situation. And then you were asking me how am I doing this week. So another thing that was on my radar is, and this is a big topic right now, it's the monthly Economic Crisis Support Act. Have you heard anything about this?
I no. So what's it called? Monthly Economic Crisis Support Act. What do you know about it?
So what I know about this is some legislation that's being proposed to possibly give Americans $2,000 per month. It looks like people who make $120K and under would be eligible. $2,000 a month. Families would get $4,000 a month. And then I think there's an extra $2,000 per child, or there's some actual amount that they're discussing per child. Now, this is going to be on top of the stimulus payment that we've already, some people have already received. Now they're talking about this support act. They're trying to push this legislation through. Do you think this is a good idea for Americans right now?
So this is the Money, Sex, Gen X podcast. So the money part. So this is what I don't understand about the economics of these stimulus plans, unless there's money set aside in the budget already for crises like this.
Yeah,
I do not understand how any organization who is already operating in the deficit can generate cash. I don't understand where they pull the cash from. And so we already did a $2 trillion stimulus package. And then we came back with another 400 and some odd billion dollars. And now we're going to pull some more money out of our behind as a country. So I'm okay with getting the money. It's oxymoronish. I'm okay with getting the money, but how are we going to pay for this? I do not understand I do not understand how this works economically. Maybe you can shine some light on how this works. So for me, I just recently had twins. They're 7 months old. So it looks like it's $2,000 per child. And then I don't know. Tell me how it works, E. I don't know. Talk to me about how it works.
Yeah. So, the last payment, I think, was $1,200 per person. And this one is a little bit different because it's not a one-time payment. It's a monthly payment. And it's, I think it's supposed to extend for a couple of months here. And so that's different because first of all, it's a higher amount than the other amount. The other one was $1,200 and then $500 per kid. This one is $2,000 a month. And I think I want to say at least $1,000 per kid. I would have to look that back up, but it's on an ongoing basis. Now, here's my problem with it. How do you really get this money to the people who need it? Because if you're basing it on those who make $120,000 and under, if I'm still working and I'm bringing in $120,000 a year, why do I need an extra $2,000 a month?
So
this isn't focusing on people who are unemployed. The criteria is based on your income. So I'm employed. I'm making, say I'm making $119,000 a year. And so on top of that, I'm going to get another $2,000 per month. I have a problem with that. And my problem is, to your point, so it's already not clear how we're going to deal with this as a country in terms of this additional debt. But you're depleting the resources faster when you're giving the money to people who don't necessarily need it. It seems like you would start off with people who are unemployed first, deploy the resources to them, and then keep any other money that you have in reserve and use it for them, so that if this is only supposed to be for 3 months, maybe we can extend it out for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, or whatever, out to a year or so. That's my problem. And I had the same issue with the first stimulus check. It's like, if you're already working and your income hasn't changed, why do you need a stimulus payment? I mean, of course, anybody would like to receive free money, including myself, but I'm talking about the fact of, do you need the funds? And so we're depleting these resources, and you might not even need it.
So let's say you're one of these senators. You're making the decision.
Right. And let me bring this up real quick, Scott, as you say that. So the people who are trying to push this forward are Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders, and this other guy, I wrote his name down, but I can't read it. But Kamala Harris and Bernie Sanders, who are two very prominent people in the media and politicians, they're two of the people trying to push this forward.
So what this sounds like is, because it's just a lot that I don't understand. Let me be very, very honest.
Okay.
And so I don't have a lot. I honestly don't have a lot of context. I started to look into it. As a matter of fact, there's an article that I'm actually reading about it right now, and I don't know if anybody can see it. I'm gonna share it on the screen. You can't really see it, but I'm gonna share it, and the people can take a look at it right here. 2000. This is in Forbes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically saying, the article starts off by saying $2,000 per person plus $2,000 per child.
Wow, it's $2,000 per child. Wow.
Monthly Economic Crisis Support Act would send payments to over 90% of Americans. So the headline alone is like, okay, cool. But I do have, I guess I don't know the inner workings. Like you're saying, if I still have my job, I'm working from home, and I make $65,000 a year, and I'm working from home, I'm still getting my check. I'm a teacher. Teachers are still getting their paychecks.
Right.
At least in the city of Chicago, teachers still are getting their normal paychecks, because this is considered an act of God. And so that's a benefit that's in the contract for teachers. So I'm making $65,000 a year. And like you say, so I still get paid?
Still get paid. Still get the check. And $2,000 per child. I think it's up to 3 children. So
and then after that, it's $500 a child.
Yep. That's interesting, especially, like I said, if your employment situation hasn't changed, and yeah, okay, that would be great to get the money, but again, are we going to deplete our resources faster if we're giving it to people who already have income? Income hasn't changed. That's my point. There's no change in income. Now, if your income has changed, of course, you should get whatever.
And I guess that's my point too, is like, lately we just been making new money. And we not printing cash. It's just like digital. It's the stroke of a couple of computer keys, and the money is direct deposit in your account. So we're not necessarily printing new cash.
Yeah.
So now that starts to lead me into these other questions about the future of money, and are we getting into these like normalized incomes where it's more like, is it communism, or is it more like more into socialism?
Seems like it's universal going that way. Yeah, it might. The socialism, I could see that possibly. I know of some people I was talking to. They're consumed with this concept of, is money even a real thing?
Right. Right.
So if we can just say, oh yeah, presto chango, we're gonna give you $2,000. We're gonna give you $2,000.
Going into socialism?
Right.
Where's that money coming from? And so it's like, okay, we can just generate money at any time. And if that's the case, why do we have some of these other problems that exist out here? If we had the ability the whole time to just create money. Or is it actually money that's being created in terms of the concept and how we look at it?
No, I think it's a slippery slope. I think we're about to head down a slippery slope. Mike Tyler is in and he says universal basic income.
Yeah, universal basic income. Now, to this, what we're talking about, someone told me the other day that in England, they were already doing something similar to this, where they're just, they're giving everybody this money each month while people are on quarantine. I don't know if it's true. I didn't get a chance to research it, but I would imagine if England is potentially doing it, there are other countries out there that may have been doing this. I'd be interested to know if it's being done successfully and how people feel about it in those countries.
So are you okay with universal basic income? Are you okay with being at you and your significant other, $4,000 a month? Are you good with that?
No, I'm not.
Why not? All you need are the essentials. You just need the essentials: food and toilet paper, and you're good.
I'm not okay with it because I am a capitalist. And I believe that there should not be a cap on the amount of income that I can bring in. I should be able to use my creativity and ingenuity and resources to make as much money as I can possibly make. That would take a lot of fire out of me personally if I was capped like that.
I mean, maybe you can get to your beach, the retirement. You want to chill on the beach. Any $4,000 a month, you could do that. You can go and sit on the beach and chill out. You ain't got to work. Get a nice little apartment somewhere. Chill out. Universal basic income.
So you sound like you would be okay with this.
Hell no. Wow. No, that's less than what that's less than what I'm shooting for, man. And sometimes it's less than what I make. No way. That's a step backwards.
Tremendous.
Losing money, man. No, sir.
Tremendous.
And so what does that mean? So in one respect, okay, give me that universal basic income. Call it welfare. All right, give it to me. And then can I still go out and make my own money? Can I still be entrepreneurial? Can I still is this just like the basic, like is this a catapult for some? We're going to give you this seed money, $2,000 a month just to survive so you can go and be a capitalist.
That's a good question. And that's going to take me to this. I did a little bit of research. I and my younger brother are people who are consumed with people's incomes. Now, most people I talk to, they're consumed with the incomes and they're very curious about people's incomes who are entertainers. Like Beyonce made this, Jay made this. We don't care about that, but we have always been very concerned about people like ourselves. How much money do they make? How much money they bring in? Now, here's some interesting stats.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're accurate, but I tried to do as good a job as I could to get multiple stats to see if they were right. So the average salary, what do you think the average salary is of the individual person in the United States? So a singular person, what do you think the average salary is?
$38,000 a year.
According to my research, Scott, $58,379 is the average U.S. salary for an individual.
That's pretty good.
The average household income, from what I researched, is $63,179. Okay? So then I started thinking, I'm like, okay, cool. Now here's a stat that threw me off a little bit. Less than 10%, and this ties into the article that you put up, Because what did they say? They said like 90% of Americans will get the money, right?
Right.
Less than 10% of Americans earn over 100K. Did you know that?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So that sound you would have thought that anyway, right?
Wait a minute. Less than 10% of Americans earn over 100. Less than 10%?
Less than 10% of Americans earn over $100,000 per year. I was shocked by that.
I'm surprised.
And so that's why in that article they said that 90% of Americans will get the money. Because it's like that 100, okay? And then here's the last thing that I looked up that really made me think a lot. They have a statistic for the amount of money that people consider when they're no longer in poverty. So if you said to a person, what salary would you need to not feel like you're in poverty? If you had to guess what people answered or what that number is, what would you say it is?
So if I had to guess what other people say, I think they would say $100,000 a year.
Do you know that people said from this research that if they make $30,000 or more, they don't consider themselves to be impoverished?
So
that blew me away.
So
$30,000.
No, sir.
I couldn't.
Well, now we're talking about some mindset stuff, man, because that's the bottom of the. So $2,000 a month is only $24,000 a year. That's almost at the poverty line.
Yeah. So if these people got another $500 a month, they would feel like they weren't impoverished. They were cool.
Which kind of goes back to if all you need is food and toilet paper, you can ball out.
Right.
You can ball out. I mean, and what? Yeah, that's very, man. This conversation actually could be like really deserves to be a whole nother thing, and I guess is what we're talking about. Poverty. What are the poverty guidelines? Bridget Scarborough says, "What are the poverty guidelines?" And that's exactly what we're talking about. So, Bridget, what I do know in 2012 in Chicago, $19,000 a year was the poverty, like that was the minimum to survive and not be considered in poverty. $19,000 a year was the bare minimum.
And now I think it's at around 24,000 now.
Okay, yeah. So but this is a hell of a conversation that we need to have, because really it kind of goes back to what we talk about, Eric, with how we perceive money, how we relation with money, how we value money, and how we move the money. So in one respect, can you survive off? No, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I could survive off of $2,000 a month, but it would be a hell of a haul, man, to get there. Yeah. That's in some cases that's the rent alone, bro.
True indeed. I mean, I always look at it like this. You could survive, you could figure it out and survive, but what would your quality of life be? I think that's the bigger question. And I think that's the reason why some people wouldn't be content with being capped off at $4,000 per month, because we all have different standards for what our quality of life should be. Some people wouldn't be able to have their same quality of life at $4,000 a month. And that in and of itself would be like, no, you're not going to cap me because you're about to change my whole lifestyle. When other people getting $4,000 a month, they would be able to maybe improve their lifestyle. That would be a significant improvement.
Yeah, and so the other piece too is like, it's $4,000 a month if you live with someone else. If you're alone, it's $2,000 a month.
$2,000 a kid.
I don't know if you can handle that.
That would be interesting. But again, it's like, what is the message that we're sending if we're giving a person that's already making $150,000? No, say it's 119, so you're right at the cap. We're going to give you another $2,000 plus $2,000 a kid. To me, that's just very wasteful.
You don't see it as an opportunity to kind of make up for what they lost over the last 2.5, 3 months.
But I guess that's my point. We're assuming everybody has lost, but I don't think some people have. I mean, you got people like, so say people who are already doing business virtually. How does this hurt your business? I mean, it could. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you might have less paying clients because your clients aren't working and they can't afford your fees. But I have a lot of people that I deal with. Their situation has maybe improved by being at home, and they're making more money and not less. Should they get a check? I would say no. And that might not be a popular comment, but I just don't think we should get it. I mean, I would rather that money not come to me and go to somebody that actually needs it for a longer period of time.
Man, so do you want your $2,000?
I'm not going to be, I won't get it. I won't get it. I'm not going to be.
Okay. Okay. I didn't. So it was a couple of reasons why I didn't get my stimulus money. One is because I hadn't filed my taxes yet for the last, I don't mind saying it, for the last 2 years, 2018, 2019, I haven't filed yet. So I still have time to file before the end of December 31st. I still have time to file. So I didn't get that. And my income for last year exceeded the amount that I would have gotten anyway.
Okay.
I was above that threshold. But this one, I'm in it. So
okay.
My lady and I would get it. That additional $4 would be great. In addition to what we're already doing, kind of helps get us, help us take us to another level. If it's okay and we're not taxed crazily for generating additional revenue. Mike Tyler says this is a tricky topic. It is. And Bridget Scarborough says a lot of the reason for the stimulus is to boost the economy by encouraging spending.
You know what, Bridget, that's an interesting comment. I hear that all the time. I just don't know if it's a good long-term, and now we're getting into this whole economic kind of, we could do a core economic, this is economics 101, but it's like, yeah, you are encouraging spending, but is it a good long-term solution?
Right.
And that's what I'm not sure about. Everybody out there, this is the Money, Sex, Gen X podcast with myself, Mr. Eric McLoyd, my co-host, Mr. Big Stu. We are talking about the money today exclusively. We're talking about money, and we're going to dive into the main topic in a few minutes. But yeah, I don't know if it's a long-term solution or not, but I want to read this last comment from Bridget. She said, if people are broke or fearful, they will not spend and the economy will crash.
Yeah.
So you could give people the money and it might not serve its intended purpose if they keep the money. It's a good point.
Or does it work the same if I invest the money? Let's say I don't go shopping. Let's say I just put it in a Roth. Let's say I put it in a CD, or I put it in the market, I put it in Bitcoin,
That definitely helps the economy for sure.
All of that helps the economy, just like going to Nike.
Oh, absolutely. No question.
Well, then I'm all for it. An additional couple grand a month. If it's free money, bring it. But I got to read the fine print.
Okay.
Is this money expected to be? I don't even mind it being taxed. I don't mind it being taxed. But is it expected to? Is it a loan? Or is it just an advanced payment? Is it treated as income and taxable income?
I think it's going to be like the first payment. It's not going to be taxable income. Which that's that's nice. That's cool. But
But I do see that our great grandchildren are going to be paying off this country's debt.
Yeah, explain it to me though. It's like we always talk about we have all of this debt, but if we can just create money whenever we want to, why can't we just create enough money to get rid of the debt?
So my understanding, and you can help me with this, and anybody out there, please chime in on this. Supposedly China is sitting on cash. We owe China a lot of money. I understand among all countries we owe, prior to 2008, we owed upwards of, and you can Google it right now, what's the current U.S. debt, but it was upwards of $13 trillion in debt, and ticking, right?
Right.
China wants their money.
Yeah, of course.
They want them. They don't want the digital. They want their money. And so I think that's part of the problem, that we get, like people want their money, man. So we got to pay them.
So why can't we just create the money to pay them off?
Why can't we just? People are fearful. I found a new way to use the. So you saying why we just don't print the money and pay them off?
Yeah, since we are able to, it seems like we're able to just generate money whenever we need it, right? I mean, that's where the stimulus money appears to be coming from.
Well, doesn't that create deflation?
It could, but it will get rid of the debt, though.
I don't think it works like that, man.
But I want to know why not, and we're going to get into that. So, did you study econ in college?
I took a semester, but it wasn't my major or my minor. But I'm into it. I'm into it.
I studied it probably not as much as you did. I'm not an expert, but I'm just trying to understand, why can't we just create the money, pay off China, and keep it moving? Why can't it work like that? Why can't the value decreases, and now you paying $1,000 for a loaf of bread? And now you walking around with $500,000 in your pocket as spending money, because you can just create money, and now the value, because you can create it, the value. So it's that piece about scarcity. The value, if it's too much in circulation, it doesn't have the same value. If there's not enough in circulation, the value is increased. And so the dollar is the same way. If there are too many dollars in circulation, if everybody got $1, hell, then what's the value of my dollar? Well, you know how the Fed, they do this tightening, and with the interest rates and all that.
Yeah.
I just feel like if we can do that, we could just go ahead and create the money. Yes, the value would drop, but I think over time the value would return, and the benefit would be that the debt would be cleared with China or whoever else that the United States owes. Start off with a clean slate and move forward, versus being in and holding. You have to deal with China now for all these different years, when you could just get rid of the debt and keep it moving.
So you say, just like we did with this country, printed, or we didn't print, but we created $3 trillion over the last 2 months, create 13 trillion and give it to China and get them out of here so we can be debt free.
Yep. Aren't they proposing something similar when they talk about getting rid of student loan debt and all that? Have you seen people trying to get that type of legislation out there? To me, it's the same concept, like getting rid of debt and allowing people to move forward.
It's just like a charge off. And so, okay,
what happens to the big corporations when they're allowed to walk away from all this debt?
Yeah,
they can walk away and start over. Why can't the country do that?
So okay, I'll look. I'm gonna go with you on that. Okay, E, you owe me $1,000. Forget the 1,000, keep it, bro. You don't have to pay it back. But then if you need it again, but your rating decreases, like, yeah, I can't rock with you no more.
Yeah, it's gonna be a temporary hit. I'm not saying it won't, but I feel like it's necessary in order to. I mean, I'm sure they're talking about this in Congress now. Like, why would we create this money and give it to the people? It's going to be a short-term disaster and all. But then you have the other people arguing, well, we need to do this for the long-term growth of the country. We need to create this money, give it to the people, $2,000 a month, and then we'll lick our wounds and keep moving into the future. Something to think about. Now, I could be totally wrong. Again, I'm not any type of econ person. I'm just trying to use common sense, what I consider common sense, to address this issue.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the new money, I think cash is definitely going out the window. I think it's all about social currency and digital currency, but more so social currency. So you're gonna be 5-star rated to death on everything. Your exes is gonna be able to rate you. Your employers, not only will you be able to rate restaurants will be able to rate their customers, and you'll have an overall social currency rating.
Yeah.
That's going to play up into whether or not you are worthy of services.
Absolutely. I love that. I love it. Why not? Why not?
So if you're a jerk, it's an episode on Black Mirror I saw. If you're a jerk, you get 3 stars. You get 2 stars.
Yeah. That's right.
But if you're an upstanding citizen and you're good to the people, and you'll be 4.5, 4.8. Damn near 5 stars all the way through, and you'll have access.
You'll have access. That's right. No doubt. Now, I want to move this conversation forward. I feel like there's a direct tie here into our main topic of the day. And that topic is, and it ties into this econ situation, is college a joke? Is college a joke? You do not know how long I have wanted to talk openly and publicly about whether college is really a real viable option anymore for people. But before we dive into that, I want to talk to you specifically about, I know you went to college, you have a master's degree, I'm pretty sure.
I do.
What actual skills, because for us to say it's a joke, for us to even ask that question, I think it's a good time to analyze, what did we actually walk away with from college that you could not get anywhere else? Please talk to me about that.
What did I walk away from college? Relationships. The ability to establish solid relationships. I don't think I could have gotten that had I not gone to college.
Okay, I'm gonna press you on that in a minute, but I want to also ask you, so what other skills did you learn how to network and build relationships. What other hard skills did you walk out with? What did you learn how to do? Because I always tell my children every day almost, I'm like, people are only going to pay you based on what you know how to do. And so I asked them, what do you know how to do? What can you do? And I want to know from you, like, what did you learn? So you made an investment and you went to school, but when you walked out, like, did you learn anything that you couldn't have learned doing something else?
Man, what? Like, I didn't go to school. I didn't go to college for a technical skill. So it's not like I went to aviation college. I didn't go to Lewis University in Romeoville and learn to become a pilot. I didn't go to school for architecture. I didn't go to school for computer engineering, computer science. So I didn't walk away with a skill. I went to school for marketing. Wow. So I did learn how to market. I mean, I do know marketing.
Okay. So you learn how to market and you learn how to build relationships.
I learned how to market and networking, building professional relationships.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah, right. I got that.
Okay. And how long did you spend in college?
It took me 6 years to finish undergrad.
Okay. Okay.
I sat out a couple of, I don't know, I got to defend my 6 years, but I sat out a couple semesters. And then when I transferred, because I actually transferred schools, I lost some credits. So I had to make it up.
Okay.
So I had to make up 2 years worth of credits. So 6 years.
Okay. 6 years. And so
For undergrad, a year for grad.
Okay. And in that grad program, was it basically the same things that you walked away with? You learned how to network and build relationships?
No. Grad school was it was like drill and kill. It was drill and kill in grad school. I went to Roosevelt, business and marketing, drill and kill, man. So it was just like constant, what do you call them? Case studies.
Yeah.
Constant, just like, here's the problem, solve it. Here's another problem, solve it. Here's another, and you were constantly evaluated on that. I felt like I wish that was undergrad, because that was the work. It was like hardcore Fortune 500 problems that needed to be evaluated and solved from business and marketing perspective. So it was heavy. I loved it.
Okay.
I don't know where else I could have gotten that experience.
Okay.
And by the way, you see what Bridget says about college?
It's a very bad joke.
And Mike Tyler says, what'd you say about Bridget's point?
I agree.
And Mike Tyler says, operative versus speculative experience. Wish I knew a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I wish, Mike, could you elaborate on that a little bit? I'd love to hear more about that.
Operative versus speculative. So what about you? Did you get out of college? Like, what did you get in college that you couldn't have gotten somewhere else?
I'm one of these dudes that always walks around saying college is trash, it's garbage. You know, it was no benefit. But I thought about that this week, and I actually did walk away with some things. So I learned how to write. I learned how to become a better writer. I learned how to do research.
Definitely.
I learned in my master's program, I learned the language of business because I had no clue. I learned that. And yeah, I did learn a little bit of the networking piece and all of that. Those are the main things that I would say that I learned. But I question whether I couldn't have learned those things somewhere else. So I'm not saying I didn't benefit from going to college, but I'm saying I'm pretty sure that I could have learned those things somewhere else.
So how long did it take you to finish undergrad?
Oh man, it took me a long time because I started when I was 18, and then I was out for a while. I didn't go back until I was like maybe my late 20s or something.
Okay.
Out for a long time.
Okay.
I went back and then I finished undergrad and I went straight into the master's program and got that done.
Okay. So was college, was it worth it? Was it worth the investment?
Not in the way that I went about it, no.
Would you be where you are today if had you not gone to college?
No, I would not, but I should. But here's what I'm arguing. I should be able to say that I could be. Because my thing is, so you're telling me I got to go to college to learn how to network with people? Like, are you?
No.
Like, I'm not. So let's think about Silicon Valley, for example. Though a lot of those cats, they dropped out of school and they created these multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar companies, right? They don't even have a college education. They some kind of way figure out how to network.
Yeah, and they're probably, so that's a very good point. Yeah, so you learn how to code and do and build this website, but that's nothing. You don't know how to talk to people. You don't know how to close a deal. You don't know how to relation. You don't know the language. You can't take your technical skill and make it and put it in lay terms. You know, so all of those skills you practice in college. So yes, the college a joke. It's the price of college might be a joke. The experience that you get in college, you can't get anywhere else. You don't you normally don't transition from your parents' house to being in an environment with no real adult oversight and learn how to navigate your way through that without, some negative consequence. That's what you get in college. Like, you got to figure shit out. You got to figure out how to get along with your roommates or your suite mates and respect authority from your peers, whether it's your RA or somebody in one of these offices that are probably another student. You got to learn how to talk to people. And there are no other spaces where it's a concentrated amount of people where you can go and learn how to do that.
So let's think about these spaces where you can go and work with people. What do they call the co-working spaces?
Yeah.
If a person graduated straight out of high school and they went to one of the better co-working spaces with all these professionals in there, couldn't you still learn a lot of what you're talking about in one of those spaces versus going to college?
I would argue no. In a co-working space, if I can retreat to myself. You can retreat to yourself in college, but it's hard to avoid your roommate. It's hard to avoid the fact that you got to share this bathroom. Like, you don't have to share you have common spaces in those co-working spaces, but you don't have to share those spaces. Like, you can avoid the interaction. And sometimes you can avoid the interaction in college, and sometimes people just drop out. They avoid that interaction. They drop out.
That's right.
And then at some point they realize, shit, this is hard. I got to finish school. Because that's the training ground for professionalism.
Okay. So what I'm trying to argue here is, are you familiar with Techstars?
Yes.
Okay, one of those types of. Why couldn't a person go to Techstars and get an apartment with 2 or 3 people?
Yeah.
Right. So there's your dorm and all of that interaction. You go to Techstars, there's a professional environment where they're going to scale up your business and your networking and all that. Why isn't that model more popular? It's cheaper.
Yeah.
You will probably walk away with less debt, and you probably would walk out with a sustainable business venture.
You probably just named exactly that. I mean, Techstars is dope, but they are missing that component. Like, you don't have to share a living space with someone. Yeah. And then also in Techstars or in college, again, it's that learning that chain of command. Like, you can't just move out your apartment in college. You can't just move out your dorm. And you have to follow the process. You got to go talk to your RA, then you got to go talk to someone in housing, and then you have to wait, and you have to fill out this app. Like, so I think that what you described though is a huge opportunity for organizations like Techstars to create that. And I think we're man, you ahead of your time, brother, because I think we're right there right now in where we are shifting in education. We are shifting in the financial industry. We are shifting in all of these different areas of infrastructure of our lives. And I think you're talking about another one because, yes, the universities really were pretty much unfazed by this COVID piece. And I say that because all they really said was, all right, everybody go home. We'll just continue classes online. But they really have to think about, what are they going to do with these dorms and these buildings now? Right? Because I don't imagine that all universities just be like, everybody come back to campus. They can still do online education, but what are they going to do with these spaces? And how do you figure that out? And I think that what you talk about with Techstars and that model, I think you're really ahead of your time with something and figuring out how we move forward and what college looks like going forward from here.
Yeah, I mean, I do think this is a good conversation to have, because it's like, you think about it like this. I was talking to somebody, a younger person. They're like, well, yeah, you're going to go to college in order to network. And I said, think about it like this. Say, let's take Howard, for example. say you don't go to Howard, but you move to Washington, D.C. Say you're just out of school and you're trying to get a business going. You move to Washington, D.C. within a couple of blocks of the campus. You got your business venture that you're actively pursuing. Why can't you just go on campus? Because people always say, well, you're going to network. Why can't you just go on campus every day and network with the people who are in school? Why do you have to be enrolled to build? I do think the relationships are important, but I don't need to be a student there to build those relationships.
Right. But
just go on campus and build them.
Nah, because you're not in the, no. You're paying to be a part of a community. So if you ain't paid to be in this community, you don't have access. That's what the tuition is.
So you're saying if you go, so there are some schools that aren't as easy to enter. Like say, have you been on Hampton University's campus?
No, I've never been to Hampton.
So Hampton's campus is a little different than Howard, right? Like you can't just pop on campus. You have to go past the guard gate and all of that stuff. So yeah, I get it. But like those campuses that are like open, I would argue that you do have access. So let's use schools in Chicago.
University of Chicago, Northwestern.
University of Chicago, let's use Northwestern. You can walk on campus all day. You might not be able to get into every building, and Loyola. So say you're at the Lakeshore campus of Loyola. You can't get in all the buildings, but you can certainly get in the campus enough to interact with people. And I'm just saying, maybe we should start thinking about that. If I'm going to pay $100,000 to go network, is there a way to get that cost down? If that's the only thing I'm going to walk away with and I'm spending $100,000, there are people I know out here with $300,000 in student loan debt.
Absolutely. Are they doctors?
No.
They just they didn't go to school for the humanities, did they?
No, I mean, they're somewhere in the middle. Some of them are attorneys and things of that nature. But the thing about it is like, because we're not taught how to even get these student loans in the proper manner, you know, they probably have way more debt than they should even have. But my thing is, unless you're going to be something very specific, like a doctor, lawyer, engineer, or something like that, do you really need to enroll in college to accomplish your goal? I don't know. Maybe you do, but I just don't. Like I said, I learned how to research and write. I could have learned that somewhere else.
Yeah, so I would have. Go ahead, please continue.
No, I'm just saying there's no question. Did I get a quality education? Yes, I did. But I'm telling you, I could have learned that, especially in today's time. Like I was talking to you about how you offer digital courses and things of that nature. There's a bunch of people that are doing these things. I'll use Dr. Boyce Watkins, for example, Jay Morrison, you know, a lot of these types of people. They're offering not just some BS content. They're offering college level content that you can consume for a very low price. And they are actually teaching you how to network with people too, if you listen to them.
Yeah, my son is enrolled in one of Dr. Boyce Watkinson's classes. And I see the other classes that he offers. What's missing is in my offerings, my online offerings, and Dr. Watkins' offerings, what we're missing is not just the certification, but the certification being recognized and accepted as valid when you go looking for a job, right? Because people want to know that you have completed some sort of training. Like, where'd you get your training for business or to do this work? And that's just got to be validated somewhere.
You know what? I'm going to push back on that. I think that's a very valid comment, but I don't understand how somebody could go to Silicon Valley and create $1 billion company with no formal education, but then somebody who's not trying to do anything anywhere near that needs a certification. Just to make what's the numbers? Just to make $58,000 a year, or $30,000 not to feel impoverished. Who are we really looking for certification from? And to me, that speaks to a larger question. Why are you really going to college? Is it so that somebody can say you're official, you went to college? Is that why you're going to college, or do you really? Because I know when I first went, I think we talked about this before. Didn't even know why I was going.
Yeah.
But society told me that I needed to go to college. And that's what I'm trying to get people away from. So I think you and I are both saying, yes, we benefited, but I'm just going down this different road of saying I could have benefited somewhere else. And I'll tell you one place specifically. I'm in the financial industry. If I had known about the financial industry, man, there is no way in the world that I would have spent the amount of time that I spent getting all these degrees and certificates and really just looking for validation. Oh, you went to this school, you went to that school. Are you kidding me, man? In 2020, that's what you want, a pat on the back?
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't break from that training. So let me go to our comments real quick. Again, Mike Tyler is saying it's kind of like the trade vocational route of post-secondary routes versus the traditional academic or college routes debate that he has with his students.
Yeah.
Vincent Brown says facts. You know what we're talking about. This is facts. And then Mike Tyler also points to an above article at the teachingchannel.com, the fallacy of advanced degrees. And he says, it reminds him of that article. I can't pull the link, but it's there. And then overall, Mike is saying, great discussion overall. What I am saying, Eric, is to your point, yes, you can take someone who is really zoned in on building an amazing application. And that's not as straightforward as it may seem. But you can take somebody who can code, pair them with someone who is savvy about business, and they can build a tech company.
Yes.
And there are lots of companies getting millions of dollars in seed money. And I get it. I get these messages, these emails and newsletters all the time. So-and-so got 150 million. So-and-so got 3 million. So-and-so got $150,000. People are getting money, but there's a difference between building something and building something useful and building something that's useful and sustainable and building something useful and sustainable and profitable.
True indeed. True indeed. Which is, as we both know, is a process. You know?
It's a whole process. You're not going to get around some sort of formal training. And whatever you decide to do with that, yeah, some people, I think you and I are that last generation that went to college because we were told we needed to go to college to get a job.
Exactly.
We're probably the last of that generation. Now
we're getting to where I'm trying to go. Please preach. Keep going.
You got it. I mean, now it's just like I'm a college professor, and I always start every class. You don't need me. You can learn whatever you need to learn on your own. But you need to figure out how you're going to be a professional. You need to figure out your networks. You need to figure out how you put all of this stuff together and get it certified. And that even as you as a financial guy, if you didn't have your college degree behind you, you might not be where you are. I think we've already established this. You might not be where you are had you not at least. I graduated from Northwestern. It's like, oh shit, okay, cool.
But you know what? I agree with that, but I'll say this too. I think if that's all psychological. And before I say that, I want to say what's up to Vincent Brown. He made the comment. I haven't seen that brother in many, many years. What's up, Vincent, man? It's good to see you in here. My cousin Leota said, Eric, let me hold $500. Better yet, $1,000. You got it. I don't have it, brother, but it's good to see you up here.
It's unrealized.
He's a perfect example of getting skills versus, a bunch of degrees and stuff. But, I think this is a good conversation because I just want people to understand that there's an alternate path. Once we get past this, the society is telling me that I need to go to college to be validated. So think about how crazy this is. You want the person that you're paying the tuition to validate you. Of
Yes.
course they're going to validate you. You're giving them the money.
Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense. That's like saying you want your landlord to validate you if you're renting a property. Of course they're going to validate you. That you're giving them money every month. Oh yeah, Eric, you're the greatest renter I've ever had. Why wouldn't they do that? That's who you're seeking your validation from. Like that, to me, that's just crazy, man. Oh yeah, you finished your degree, and then now you walk out with $100,000 worth of debt. Of course, they're going to add value to the degree. They're the ones selling it to you. Like we gotta evolve from that mindset. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's a system that's very flawed because it only benefits the person that's selling you the snake oil.
Well, give me then what does it look like then? What is this new system of education and credentials? What does the new system of credentials look like?
The new system, there is no credential. The new system is, what do you know how to do that people will pay for? Because remember, we talked about you went to college and you got a degree, but that doesn't mean you know how to do anything. Most of the people that I know that went to college, they had to go to some additional route to learn how to do something that somebody would actually pay them for. So you were saying, well, if you say you went to Northwestern, yeah, all of that stuff is cute. But once you get in the door, what do you know how to do, man? You got to do something.
You said all of it is what?
It's cute, man. It's great. You know what I mean? You went to Northwestern, you went to Loyola, you went to this school. Yeah, I did. What can you do? We're very clear about this, and you can go back to slavery. If you're not generating money for these entities, you're out.
You're out, no matter what degree you got.
Yeah, you got in the door because you went to this school, but if you're not generating some money, you are walked out of the door. So my question is my point is, let's skip past all of that. Why don't you learn how to do something on the front end? And then even if you do go to college, at least you're walking in with some skills.
Yeah, so your fam told you, that my mom told me that college was obsolete back in 2002.
And she was absolutely right.
Post-secondary endeavors give youth options. Well said, Brother Eric.
Yeah.
And he goes on to say, you pay me not for how long I took, but what I know.
What do you know how to do that somebody will pay for is what, to me, it comes all the way down to. I don't care what, this is how I am in my personal life at this point. I told somebody this the other day, I don't give a damn what school you went to. I don't care. How much money do you make per year? And what do you know how to do? And I'm going to tell you something. So I come from a family of tradesmen. And so does my cousin Leotis that's making these comments. He comes from a trade, his father's a tradesman. My brother's a tradesman, my father. They do very well for themselves. I think my brother has some college, but they didn't get the college education that we had. These guys make a lot of money. Nobody ever promotes in the media, be a pipe fitter, be an engineer, be an electrician, where these people are making a lot of money, but what do they keep pushing? You need to go to college. You know why? Because you can go be a pipe fitter and not walk away with a bunch of debt.
Right.
That's why you don't see that promoted, because you're not making somebody enough money. But if I send you to college, I can get you to go to college and you can walk out. You don't know anything. You owe me money. And then you got to go. And then what's the next thing people do? Well, I can't find a job. What am I going to do now? I'm going to go get a master's degree.
Yeah.
You're going to go get another degree.
Yeah.
And you're already in the hole. And so now you're going to have 2 degrees and don't know how to do nothing.
Yeah. I know a lot of people with a lot of advanced degrees that are broke. You know, a lot of PhDs that are broke.
Yeah, I know a lot of them that aren't broke too. But my thing is, did you have to get in all that debt to make that the money that you made?
Right.
I would say no. Please clap back on me in these comments if you disagree with what I'm saying. All I'm saying, people, is we got to start thinking and stop with these slavery mentalities, man. We make everybody rich but ourselves. When you have examples of people that are making billions of dollars with no college education.
So I learned something today. So the message that you are sending out is be good at something. Learn to be good at something that people will pay you for, and you will always have a job. You'll always have income. Did I over simplify that message? How would you say that message in your words?
I would say it like this. I think that was a good summary. I would say it like this, though. Value yourself on what skills you possess that are in demand.
Value yourself on what skills you possess
that are in demand. So if you're out there right now and you're going to get your bachelor's degree and you're at some so-called good school, I want you to ask yourself right now, what skills do I have that are in demand that somebody would pay for? And if you are unclear about that, go on these various websites and look for what jobs are out here. Look at what kind of businesses people are forming, and ask yourself, do I have any of these skills? And if the answer is no, you might want to think of a secondary strategy.
I would agree, man. You know how to market, learn how to market yourself. Mike Tyler says, union jobs. He said, you got it, Doc, and know how to market yourself. So the future of education is figure out what the people need, learn it, and give it to them. Are we saying don't go to college?
No, we're not saying that. We are saying think twice about if you need to go, but if you do go in before you even sign that student loan paper. Be clear about what skills you're going to walk out with. Think about it. Say you want to be a lawyer. Okay, you got to go to school to be a lawyer. That's not something that's debatable. Engineer, you probably got to go to college for that. Doctor and all of that. But outside of that, a lot of these careers, you don't necessarily. Let's use this as an example. So one of the hot things that's in demand right now is everybody has companies and they're looking for social media people to run their marketing, right?
Yep.
Do you need to go get a marketing degree to run my social media? I don't think so.
No, but you definitely need to know there is a science to social media. There aren't a lot of programs where you can. Colleges are just now starting to offer courses, but there is a science to social media. That's very, very true now.
Yeah, no doubt.
So don't just think that
I'm not trying to minimize it.
Yeah. You got to understand how algorithms work and why Facebook doesn't immediately post your post to everybody, and why you. So you got to understand that, and the SEO stuff. So there are some technical things, technical components that you need to understand. I have always questioned the need to go to college. I know exactly why I went to college. I went to college because I was groomed to go to college. I was raised in my house. You are going to college. You are going to graduate from college, or you're going to get the hell out of my house. You're not just going to not go to college. And so it was never a choice for me. And getting the master's degree was definitely my choice. I knew that once I got my undergrad and started working, I knew I wasn't going to be able to work for anyone.
Yeah.
So I wanted the master's degree just for my own edification. That was just for me. So I've always questioned. I don't think college is for everybody, and I think there's a lot that you can do. You don't have to go to college, but you got to go get some training. You got to go get some skills, some certified training somewhere in whatever it is that you want to study. That is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Go get a certificate program.
Yeah.
Something. You got to go get. You got to know what you're talking about.
One of the things that I feel like people overlook is real estate, for example.
Yeah.
So we all know at this point that real estate is something that you can use to make a really nice ongoing income for generations if you choose to. Do I have to go to college for that? Absolutely not. Do I have to even become a real estate broker or a real estate agent? Absolutely not. Do you have to learn how to do it, like you said, and get those skills? You do. But the best way to learn a lot of the stuff that we're talking about is just go out and do it.
You wouldn't even suggest. I was once a realtor. I took the class.
Okay.
Got my realtor license at one point. You don't suggest that they go take that course?
No.
First?
No.
No?
If you're out there, Jay Morrison, if you follow him on social media, he's from, I think he's from New Jersey. Jay Morrison has the best real estate classes I've ever seen in my life. I took that real estate broker's exam and all that stuff. This is better to me because his classes are more geared toward being an entrepreneur, not being an agent. Okay. I'm talking about making money, not having a bunch of degrees and certifications and licenses. I'm talking about pure income. His classes are far better than any of those classes, and they're cheaper.
So this is what I'm saying, E. I don't think we're totally on the same page. I think we're in the same race in this conversation. I don't know if we're in the same lane, on the same page, because this is what I'm saying. I think, while I don't think you need to go to college, I think you need to show a competency. You have to show that you have a basic understanding of the topic. And so you can get that one or two ways. You can go out there in the market and feel your way through it, or you can go take a course and get certified at it. Like so I agree. Like those are the two ways. And so if you decide to go the Jay Morrison route, you're gonna pay some money. Yeah. Maybe you don't take out a student loan, and maybe it's just money out your pocket. Yeah. And it's gonna take you a lot longer, I think.
No, I disagree with that, brother. I disagree.
Okay. All right. We can agree to disagree. Yeah. I decided to get my PhD. But I decided that my PhD I'm going to achieve my PhD through the honorary track.
Okay.
The honorary track takes at least 20 years.
Okay.
You have to do work in the space that you're in, and it takes a lifetime, pretty much 20 years.
Okay.
Now, I could have gone to a program. I could have gone to a booth or somewhere and gotten a PhD and been done in 2 months and paid a guap of money. But to your point, I think for me, being in the field doing the work, and this is what you're saying about the real estate, go do the work and get the experience, and that's where you get your education as well. And that's why I think it takes longer if you do it on your own versus going into an established place and getting that piece of paper.
Yeah. No, I think those are good. Yeah, I think we're in the same universe. I'm trying to get into the psychology of why we do these things. You know, okay. Like I have a lot of clients, they always say, well, I'm going to go back and get a master's degree. And the first thing I ask them is why? Or it's something that I always wanted to do. And somebody taught me something years ago that I use to this day. If you're trying to figure out something, ask yourself why 5 times, and you might get to the real reason of why you're doing something. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I want to get my master's degree. Why? It's always something I wanted to do. Why? Yeah. Or my mother told me it'd be good to have a master's degree. Why? Why? You know, just keep asking yourself why. And then you start to realize, man, it's really about other people. It's not even about myself 9 times out of 10. I want a PhD or I want a master's degree so that I can look good to other people, there's not necessarily any practical value in what I'm doing, especially if you're already in the field doing the work.
Yeah.
You want somebody to anoint you for something that you're already doing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you want somebody to say, oh, yeah, you got a master's degree. Pat on the back.
You official. Yeah, you official, bro. I mean, it's almost like the same as like if you get rich and you want that G-Wagon, you know what I mean? The G-Wagon it's a status symbol, right? It's the highest level self-actualization, the highest level on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Self-actualization. Yes. At the end of the day, there's still a level of ego associated with it.
Right.
Right? Shit, this is what I accomplished as a man in my life.
Right.
I got a degree. I made a lot of money. I had a great family. I raised some kids. I got it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, true indeed. And what I want people to walk away from this conversation with is, I just want us to think a little bit deep. Like, maybe it depends on what your values are, but it's like, I'm trying to build generational wealth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So me having a bunch of student loans is not really conducive to that, especially in today's time where I feel like the degree is diminishing the value of it. And so you have to ask yourself, am I worried about people looking at, remember we had a conversation a couple of times back about people wearing certain clothes because they want people to look at them a certain. So if we can move past that and decide, okay, if I'm wearing this low hat and this low sweater, it's because I want to versus me needing you to see me in some certain type of way. Why can't we do that professionally as well? And only make that investment if it actually is going to be beneficial to me versus it being beneficial to your peers. When you think about most of the people that you know that are actually generationally wealthy, most of them don't even have a lot of these degrees and stuff. Not the ones that I know.
I agree, but the statistics show that most millionaires, and you are in-house statistician, most millionaires have a college degree. It's not the other way around. The myth is most millionaires don't. That is not true. The facts are most millionaires have a college degree. Fact.
Is that why they're a millionaire, though?
It might not be.
Hold on.
I don't know.
Sir, can I ask you a question, though? I'm glad you said that. Just think about some of the wealthiest Black people that we know that everybody is aware of. Jay-Z, Beyonce. Who else? Somebody?
Oh, Bob Johnson.
Bob Johnson. Maybe does Bob Johnson have a degree?
We have to get our statistician on it.
Nas, I would say Nas is very wealthy at this point. The rapper Nas, I know he does not have a college degree, right? I'm trying to just think about other people in pop culture. LeBron James, no college degree. Now I'm using these people because I feel like they understand the concept of generational wealth. They're not just trying to be rich. They're trying to have wealth for generations. That mindset is not tied to a college degree. And these are some of the people that we're all aware of that we follow on social media and look up. Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is another person who I feel like he understands the concept of generational wealth.
See, now you got me looking at the list of Black millionaires in the United States. I typed in millionaires, but it immediately went to billionaires, Black billionaires, in the United States. So I want to circle back, man. We got to put down that we're going to circle back on this conversation on the Money, Sex, Gen X podcast.
This was a good one.
Because now we got to dig into this. This is why we're here, to unfold these conversations, right?
Yeah.
And I want to know, I want to debunk the myths. First of all, I am pro college, but I am not pro-debt. I am anti-college debt, but I am I'm pro-education.
Okay.
May not necessarily be pro-college. I'm pro-education.
Okay.
I'm lying to myself. I value the degree. Go to college, guys. Go to college. Go to college.
Boo!
No debt.
The problem I have with that, I know we're wrapping up, but it's like you can't get the education without the debt. I mean, most people's family, they don't have any money for them to go to school. So it's like, how can you value the college education without valuing the debt? It's attached.
Go to junior college.
Everybody out there, I am pro generational wealth. If you don't have to get a degree, please don't get in debt. Okay?
That we agree on.
Yeah,
that 100%. No debt for school. No debt. Now I'm on. Now that I will protest on. No college debt. No
college debt. I'm with you. No college debt.
No college debt, man.
And no low self-esteem. Like, I'm not trying to say that everybody who goes to college has low self-esteem, but many of us who initially did, the self-esteem wasn't where it should be. You don't need a college degree you shouldn't need a college degree to feel good about yourself. Feel good about yourself because of who you are and what your lineage is, not because of a piece of paper. I'm never going to be in support of that. Don't let these people trick you into thinking that you need a piece of paper to feel good about yourself. That's crazy. If you want to value yourself on something, value yourself on how much income you bring in every year and how many people in your family, how many families you can create and pass that wealth on to. I know people, they always talk about how much money they got, but they won't even have a child to pass the wealth on to.
So they holding on to the money.
They don't understand generational wealth. They don't understand that. So That's my 2 cents for today on that topic. I know I went a little bit more aggressive today than I usually try to be, more laid back, but I'm very, very passionate about this topic because I'm tired of seeing people fall into this trap.
So, no college debt. Go get educated, but do it without debt. We agree?
We are totally in agreement. And I do want you to know before we close out, I respect your point of view tremendously. This is just a conversation. I don't agree with everything, but I still respect your point of view as being my peer and another Gen X brother out here that's successful. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that the college degree didn't play a part in that. I'm just saying there's other ways.
Absolutely. Let's check in with a couple of, we have Mike Tyler wants to chime in, and I found out how to use the technology a little differently today. So let's go back up a little bit. Mike Tyler says he's still debating going back for his doctorate.
Don't do it, Mike. Don't do it.
He says he agrees with you. Family, peer pressure, reasons why we went to college.
Yeah.
Mike Tyler talks about the legacy that stuck out for him.
Yeah.
And he says a lot more, actually. There are 45 millionaires that he can think of, no college and all. I need to see the facts on that, Mike. I ain't buying that one. So shots to you on that one. He says that he wishes he had no college debt. He also says, know thyself. He agrees with you on that. And then he talks about this last point that I've had this conversation from time to time. Imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome. We ought to investigate that a little bit. Yeah. I've heard people talk about this sometimes. It's like, I'm doing it. I'm in the space. I'm getting it in, but do I deserve it? Should I be here? Am I worthy? And so that's that confidence piece that you were talking about.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, this has been a great episode. This is episode number 5. We want to thank everybody for their support. We have over 1,000 views so far, hundreds of comments. We're working on getting the show onto Spotify and Apple and all that stuff. But thank you for rocking with us. This has been a blast. And Scott, Stu, you got any final comments before we close out?
Man, great conversation. I don't have any. I think we really rocked it out this episode. Stay out of debt, man. Stay out of debt. Get the $2,000 and stay out of debt.
There you go. There you go. All right. Money, Sex, Gen X, episode 5. Peace.
Peace. Good job, brother.
Yeah, same to you, man. I think we pushed the envelope a little bit, and hopefully people got a lot out of it.
Yeah.